Hey everyone, RemanX, and MSF has gone to the dogs, and quite literally, and not just because we're getting Cosmo, just realistically, because a lot of the things that they've said in the past few weeks and few months have really been undermined by their current direction. And we'll start with the issues in game that continue to populate. It's gotten to the point where we almost expect them and rely on them, and it's something that they haven't really made a departure from, so we'll see, right? But the real problem here is the underlying tone from all of these current events that just tell me one specific thing. They're focusing on trying to make money from us first. And it feels bad. When it goes down to literally looking at the Nova Scourge / trial, it was such a massive frustration knowing that their version of working was understanding that certain star levels wouldn't be able to complete it or struggle to complete it, and that was their goal. It is so obvious, it's painful, and despite what they'll say, it is 100% what they did. They just wanted to make sure that if you had invested in characters and you had built these characters up, that you had an easier time. And that's kind of been contradictory for the feel-good events that were the Scourges and the Legendary releases for quite some time. We'd almost forgotten how bad leaderboards were until now we're reminded by them with the number of bugs, etc., that are popping up in the daily interactions. Well, let's break down this blog, go through why I'm a little upset, because there's a couple of pieces of the puzzle here that really get me thinking that they just aren't on the same page with their community and have drifted further and further away. So we're going to start with the basics here. So one of the things is this team that's coming out, and the Nowhere team got a boost, and so there was a mini blog or an update that happened earlier in the day that talked about the Nova Awakened abilities. And so the text of their conversation reads, as an Apex War team, Nowhere is designed to be dominant while on offense and defense in Alliance War. In reviewing frustration in mirror matches with previous Apex War teams like Gamma, these Awakened abilities have been designed to help mitigate that friction. Well, so let's be clear. So that's great, but how do we access these, Scopely? Well, these will be available, okay, in a special Nova Overloader orb, which could be purchased for power cores or get 2 times the value in limited time orders. How long will these be available for? Is it going to be available for just periodically, or will be up forever, so you can just spend the power cores when you want to and can allocate them for this? For many people, the team's just going to wind up on defense, and heaven forbid we'll wait for our opponents to do it. So basically, they're counting on us to put this team on defense so they could sell us the offensive component. So if they were really thinking about that, they would have built this into the kit as part of the initial design instead of as a side and a way to make money. All right, whatever. That's not so bad, right? At least we have these amazing raids coming up, and they couldn't be any worse than Doom 3.5 was. Yeah, hold your horses, because Marvel Strike Force, never to disappoint, decides to give us a brand new headache and a brand new sweeping change that realistically takes away any planning that a team will be usable into the future. So I am just baffled by how they described the changes to the raid, because it didn't feel good. All right, it felt like they were literally just making sure that certain teams were built to win. Bio lane. On enemy character crit, clear 2 charge from all player characters. On player character dodge, enemy gains death proof. Basically shutting down your ability to bring in web warriors. On player character block, clear 1 random negative effect on that character. What do Rebirth do really well? Block. And if any player character has a negative effect, that player character dodge chance reduced to 100%. Okay, well, we kind of knew they were moving away from web warriors anyway. Anybody who was still trying to tout their usefulness was probably misguided at best. But then this is the one that got me the most. Make no mistake, your tech team is gonna absolutely stink in this raid. First, part of the damage that comes from the team is locked in on their basics with the calls for assists. So not only are you going to have that problem with the Bionic Avengers, you're going to be able to heal the enemy team during that process, right? All their basics have calls for assists. Well, the majority of them do. What's worse, on an enemy character's end of turn, clear all barrier on... This is all they had. This is literally all they had to prevent them from being flat-footed in any raid environment. So, to be clear, the day this raid launches, which is a Wednesday next week, which we're going to get into in a few minutes here, your Bionic Avengers, any investment you had in them is going to feel bad. Will they still work potentially as you progress through the different tiers? Obviously, they're going to be gradually outdated because you can see that they're just going to be punishing you for bringing that team in. Obviously, there's other teams that are already working, but it gets worse. Skill lane on enemy characters crit, apply disrupt to all player character. On enemy character's turn, clear 2 charge from all player character blasters, which is fine. That actually enables Bucky to do more damage. Enemy characters cannot have defense down, minor defense down, offense down, or minor offense down apply to them. So if you were making characters skirmisher for the hope that you were going to be able to apply offense down, it feels to me like they're already taking away that ability. Just period. Just won't happen. So we'll have to see how they feel as you progress. I think invaders will be fine. Now the mutant lane. This is interesting, right? Is you can see all the changes that they've made. They've made some changes that could potentially hurt the team, but realistically, what they did was they basically made a call out so that you want to have Apocalypse for the raids. And to me, this is different than Doom was when he became probably one of the best raid characters. This is a little bit different. This is not putting Kestrel on a node to prevent Doom from summoning Doom bots. This is, we're going to turn off functionality and make sure you feel like you're bringing Apocalypse to the raids. Apocalypse was a relatively easy character than previous Dark Dimension characters to acquire. The Scourges were player friendly. It doesn't mean everybody has Apocalypse. And that doesn't mean that players that are going to be doing these raids for the first time are even close to achieving Apocalypse day one. So it's definitely interesting that we're seeing this happening, that it's basically favoring a character. Obviously, it seems like Psylocke is the poor person that's going to be left off the team and replaced with Apocalypse to make things more powerful. Mystic Lane, okay? Clear revive once. So, hey, you thought Dormammu was worthwhile? Guess what? Starting with the first turn, Dormammu no longer can revive characters. Now, it doesn't mean he's bad with his turn 1 trauma stun and his ability to heal, flip buffs and debuffs. It doesn't mean he's terrible, but that revive once is going to be a problem. All right, and then the barrier means that you're not likely to bring in your Darkhold. And then enemy characters cannot have blind apply to them, taking away Cloak and Dagger's biggest offensive prowess. So it's definitely feels bad that this is going to be the new trend set for raids. So I have a hard time believing that they're going to be player friendly when this is the map that they show us. This map looks convoluted, and it's Sunday. We have yet to see the map in game so we can see what the actual allocation we're going to need for players to be able to overcome these difficulties is going to look like. We don't know. So from what it looks like they put tech at the end of the raid, which looks like it's going to be the biggest headache of the next team they will likely sell us, followed by Mystic. So it feels like they're hard gating what we're going to be able to accomplish based on the power and investment we made in these teams. And I hate using the word investment, but here we are. So I mean, there's been such a series of missteps from this company. If you want to communicate this, you got to stop building the FOMO. You know, we have this mass amount of FOMO now on when these orbs come out. Are they going to be a limited time only for Nova? And then does he just get diminished until you decide to sell us the offers or give us them for cores again in overall value? Right? Do you just win an offense if you have those? It seems like it. And then you have the additional problem with, the actual rewards from these raids being G18. So they're definitely setting a difficult standard. What's more important is there's going to be a total of, it seems like 7, from the day this raid launches, there's going to be 7 difficulties. So I think that the first one will be relatively easy for most people to get through. But, from a raid season perspective, it's launching in the middle of a raid season. Your community hates that, Scopely. You have been told that. I know I've said that to you. We hate not having the ability to plan and manage and help what separates a good alliance from, the ones that suck, according to Archangel. Tease, but you guys know what we're saying. That they're realistically being able to work with your alliance is part of the hallmarks of the community. And you're missing the point we've been trying to say time and time again. Time after time, we've seen issues with leaderboards. We've seen, the daily currency, our daily free claims. Some people are getting them 2 and 3 times daily. Some of the players are not getting them at all, and they're tied to leaderboards. And you're punishing players for participating in your game just because you guys can't get that right. And, we've already seen a couple of things here. The end of season rewards are not going to be the Armor 18. They're going to be the Teal Epic Orb Fragments. So it already is different than what we thought before. And I'm baffled as to what the direction is here. So the only thing that was good from this was Kang has become a really concerned part for the community. We didn't know where Kang was going to show up. So him going into the orbs was definitely something that was welcome. But I think you're on the clock. If we don't have the raids by tomorrow, where we have a raid map and a functioning ability to look in game. I mean, the fact that we can't go into the game right now and we can't go here and see this incursion raid is a massive, massive problem. And so I call you guys out on this. This is well behind where we need for planning. If this isn't here by Tuesday, you have not done your community any service. Thank you very much.